What's good, y'all? It's your boy Jones here on Jones for Sports. And as you know, today is Football Sunday. And boy, do we have a lot of good games today. A lot of exciting games, a lot of comebacks, a few upsets. Just to share my thoughts on them, starting with the Giants and the Redskins. Giants winning that one easily. The only shock for me was I expected Case Keenum to finish that game. I didn't think Haskins would come in. I thought he would come in next game, so I was a little shocked to see that. But not mad at the decision. Um, so that's that. Daniel Jones, you know, still being a pretty good rookie without Saquon Barkley back there helping him out. Um, the next game that was a little shocking for me was the Carolina and Houston game. I expected Houston to win that one pretty easily, but if you watch that game, you can tell that they got a serious problem with that offensive line because Deshaun Watson does not have enough time to get back there to make a play. Um, he's constantly under duress, constantly having to get out of the pocket and try to make plays down the field, and it's just not working out. So when you got a guy like him in that offense, for them to only put up 10, I mean, no disrespect to Carolina defense, but I ain't expect them to do that against Watson and them boys. So things are gonna have to change for them if they gonna want to take that division because they're definitely fighting for that division. It's wide open right now. Another game that was a little shocking to me was the Chiefs and Lions game. I gotta give mad respect to the Lions. They played a real good football game. If I'm not mistaken, held Patrick Mahomes to 0 touchdowns. Zero. The MVP of last year and possibly the MVP of this year, the way he's looking. But today, you guys made him look like an average quarterback. Definitely got to, take my hat off to them because they fought their asses off. They lost because, that's the Chiefs. That's a high-powered offense. Too many weapons out there for them for the Detroit to stop them completely. But they did, make it a close game, and Kansas City was fighting from behind, and had to get a close one to win it. So I was shocked by that. Detroit's still in it in that division, so that's a team that I definitely would look out for in that division in the NFC North because they're not going out. I think that's their first loss of the season. They have a tie and they have 2 wins, so not bad. Another game I want to point out was New England and Buffalo. One thing I want to say about that is if Buffalo had a decent quarterback, maybe an average to above average quarterback, they would have won that game because if you watch that game, the Bills' defense was just lights out. They were really putting heat on Brady in that offense. Had a lot third downs, shutting them down. Had plenty of opportunities to score and take the lead and possibly win the game. But their quarterback, Allen, I think it is, or whoever was back there, just wasn't looking good. And then he went out, and then the backup, I just had it, but I can't remember. But he was looking pretty good too, but then threw a late pick. Game shit like that, you just can't do against a team like the Patriots. You got to capitalize against. I wouldn't call them mistakes because they didn't really make mistakes, but they didn't capitalize on the Bills' mistakes. So you got to capitalize on that. But still, got to give credit to the Bills because they played great. Can't be mad at the Patriots coming out with the W. They're the Patriots. They know how to win in every aspect. So no shock there. But got to tip my hat off to the Buffalo Bills. They're definitely gonna be tough in that division. The biggest shock of the day for me, and especially for fantasy reasons, the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens game. Now, this final score was 40-25. But it wasn't the Baltimore Ravens that won that game. I'll tell you that much. Now, when I think about this game, Cleveland's been struggling pretty much on offense all season, even against the Jets. Even that game where their offense kind of looked pretty good, but we haven't really seen it. But this game, they went off, and Beckham had 2 catches. So, that tells you how well that offense played. With one of their best guy on offense is shut down to 2 catches. Baker played pretty well. Um, Chubb was their absolutely best player on the field for them. Killed me in fantasy. Had like 40 points or something like that. So that's what really killed me in fantasy. Um, and Baltimore just couldn't really get it going. Their defense looked kind of average today. Um, Lamar Jackson didn't look as great as he would normally see him, but he did make some plays. You just can't, games are like that. I think that was a huge, huge win for the Browns, especially it being a division match. I think that division is probably one of the hardest divisions to play in right now for this season for sure. Especially with the Steelers having their injuries, and they got their game coming up against Cincinnati on a Monday night game, another division match. So that division is something that I would be looking out for if I were a football fan for sure. Another game that was a little shocking was the Jaguars and Denver Broncos game. Jaguars coming out with the edge, winning that game in the end, but Broncos had it. One thing I want to say about that is Joe Flacco just doesn't seem like he's the answer for them. I'm sorry. I like Joe Flacco. I was, rooting for him to, be successful with the Broncos, but it doesn't look like it. But I'll give you this. I'll give the Bronco fans this. He's better than what you guys have had the past few years since Peyton Manning's left. I'll give you that. He's better than that. So, but if I were the Broncos, I would definitely be looking for another quarterback to replace Flacco for sure, because he just didn't look that great. Another game that was pretty good was the Minnesota Vikings and Chicago game. That game was defensive as hell, especially on the Chicago side. They pretty much shut the Vikings out until the last minute or so, something like that. That defense is for real. Like, for real. They got me 16 points. Could have had more besides that last touchdown, but that defense is real. One of the best, if not the best in the league right now. So, that's a huge, huge win for the Chicago Bears, because that division as well is going to be tough because the Vikings are playing well. Everyone's playing well in that division. So I would definitely look out for both teams, Minnesota and Chicago. And the last game that I want to talk about is the Rams and the Buccaneers. That game upset the hell out of me. Not because I'm a Rams fan, but because I have Todd Gurley and Jared Goff on my fantasy team. And Jared Goff just shit the bed with 4 fucking turnovers by him. I think maybe one wasn't his fault. I'll give him that. It was a pass that got deflected and went up in the air. But the rest of them, they were your fault, and you fucked me in fantasy. So fuck you, Jared Goff. I just traded for you, and you killed me. You threw for 500 yards. 500 yards. I would have had an amazing fantasy day. Amazing. If you would have had those intos into TDs. But you had a pick 6, I think, and you had a fumble recovery return for a touchdown. So that hurt. But I was definitely shocked by that. I absolutely expected the opposite. I thought the Rams defense would, murder Winston in that offense, but it was the opposite. It was the opposite for sure. Winston, I gotta give him credit. All the shit people talk about him, he showed up today, so I can't talk shit about him today. Gurley looked pretty good. Still doesn't look 100%, but looked pretty good. But Rams, I gotta fix that quarterback because I never really trusted Goff, but I did it for fantasy reasons, and It's hurting me. But I just want to, last few things I want to talk about is congratulations to Larry Fitzgerald for passing Tony Gonzalez on the most catches in NFL history. So that's big. Larry Fitz, one of the best hands in the NFL history. So congratulations to him. And last but not least, Dallas Cowboys playing the Saints next. My boys down in the Superdome. It's going to be tough. Rematch of last year without Breeze. Still going to be tough on us, though. But, you know, I'm going with my boys all day. Cowboy Nation. We them boys. Peace. Jones of Sports.